Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And today, guys, I actually have had a bunch of people, like more than I thought would ever ping this. A bunch of people have commented relatively recently on my Sharpe's Tiger review, asking hey, are you gonna do more Sharpe? Or commenting on other things. Hey, are you gonna do more Sharpe? Well, you won't believe what I have in store for you today. It is my review of Boosh, Sharpe's Triumph, Book 2, chronologically, not publication order, chronologically of the Richard Sharpe series by Bernard Cornwell. So where Sharpe's Tiger was about the siege of Seringapatam and the bringing down of the Tipu Sultan by the British Army, Sharpe's Triumph takes place 4 years later, and it is about the Battle of Assaye, which General Wellesley, Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, the guy that beat Napoleon, which he considered his greatest victory because of the overwhelming odds that he overcame. But though this book is about Assaye, that's really just the background of the more personal story of Sharpe's quest for revenge. So Sharpe is a sergeant now, and he is minding the depot at Castlegowan, which is this, little fortress. And one night, all of the soldiers there, except for Sharpe, are massacred by the traitorous Major William Dodd, he's dressed like an East India Trading Company officer, and gets past the guards that way, and then proceeds to massacre the whole thing. And Dodd is the worst. Dodd is insufferable. Dodd has turned his coat and is now working for the Maharatta hordes, specifically Colonel Pullman, who I think he's German of some kind. Anyway, he runs like a regiment of turncoats and kind of traitors who have abandoned the British Army to come join and make their fortune working for one of the princes, I think it's Scindia. And so Sharpe is determined to take his revenge for Castlegowan on Major Dodd, but, he's got to get to him, and then, it all culminates at Assaye. Now, this book marks the return of some favorites from Sharpe's Tiger. We've got Wellesley, we've got Colonel McCandless, and the absolutely wretched Obadiah Hakeswill.
Oh my word, what a surprise. Sharpe.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now, guys. Obadiah Hakeswill is the most despicable, vile, and absolutely atrocious villain in all of fiction. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it now. I am making this superlative statement that there is no villain worse than Obadiah Hakeswill. No, there's no one more despicable. I have never read a villain that just inspires so much rage inside me than when I'm reading about Obadiah freaking Hakeswill. And this is even worse than Cornwell's freaking Lancelot. And I hate Lancelot. I hate Lancelot before I read Warlord Chronicles, where that Lancelot is absolutely despicable. But nothing holds a candle to Obadiah freaking Hakeswill, who is just determined to get his revenge on Sharpe for leaving him with the tigers back in Sharpe's Tiger. I forgot to say that I listened to this on audio with the narrator Rupert Farley, who is just phenomenal. Considering all of the accents are different forms of British or Scottish or Irish or European, and then there's Indian accents and just various class accents, he just does a great job of differentiating who I'm talking to. Wellesley sounds exactly as Wellesley's supposed to sound, and Obadiah Hakeswill says so in the scriptures. No, it freaking doesn't, Hakeswill. It doesn't say that anywhere in the scriptures. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh, I hate Hakeswill. I freaking hate him. And what I love about Cornwell's stories is this could just easily be a war story, but Cornwell draws such complex characters that I cared more about Sharpe and Hakeswill and McCandless and Wellesley and the new character Major Stokes, who runs the supplies. He wants to mess with clockwork. He's just fascinated with watches and clocks and stuff. I love that guy. He's this big portly major who's just oh, look at this. Oh, you could fix this by trimming the wood on this thing. I love that guy. But Wellesley, who should be kind of the hero, he's the White Knight. He's the one that freaking beats Napoleon. Wellesley is so unlikable. He is brilliant and fair and a horse lover, but he is also just really severe and unpleasant and also unkind. And so it's very hard to like Wellesley, even though he is, he's the guy that's on our side. And it's the same thing with our boy Sharpe. Like, we should be all behind Sharpe, but some of the things that Sharpe does are freaking questionable. Like, Sharpe is so sympathetic, and we understand his desire to climb the ranks, to go back home to all those people who thought he didn't even know when his birthday is. He's just, he grew up poor, and he's only here because the choice was jail or go join the ranks. So we understand his desire to climb and to return to those people and like shove it in their face and be like, suck it, I made something of myself. We all understand that desire. We've all been someplace where we're just like, oh yeah, I'll show you. But he is also monstrous in some of the things that he does. He is a man capable of incredible violence. And though that violence that he's committing is monstrous, we cheer for this specific brand of patriotic violence. It's for king and country. It's for the Brits are the good guys in this. And so we're like, yeah, get him, Sharpe. And we're attached to Sharpe. So if he's got to kill a guy to do what he needs to do, then he's going to kill a guy. But if you sit with that for very long, it's just like, ooh, Sharpe is brutal when he has to be. This is it's summarized in a conversation that happens. Sharpe is talking to Wellesley and Wellesley's advisor, and then Sharpe leaves. And when he leaves, Wellesley's advisor says, that's Sharpe, he's a good man. And Wellesley says, I highly doubt that, but he is a good soldier. And those are such good lines. Because is Sharpe a good man? I would say so because I like Sharpe. But is he? Is he? But he is a good soldier, and I just love that distinction that Wellesley makes. Again, Wellesley being kind of a douche. And so this is a story about loyalty, it's about patriotism, it's about making decisions on the margin, and it's also a story about friendship. The friendship between McCandless and Sharpe is just it's so touching to see, an officer, a colonel, and a sergeant, not even an officer, kind of intermingle and relate. And every time Sharpe swears, he's like, sorry, sir, because McCandless is a very good, devout, Jesus-following Scot. And so the theme of loyalty and whether people deserve loyalty or whether countries or these abstract forces deserve our loyalty is brought up again, and this is what I love about the Sharpe books, is just seeing the kind of structure of the British military and the unfairness of it sometimes. We see the makeup of the different command structures in the two different armies. You have the Royal Army and then the East India Trading Company soldiers. And so in the Royal Army, you purchase your commission, you have to buy your commission, and the only people that can buy commission are really nobles. And being promoted from the ranks does happen, but it's very, very rare, and usually people don't like people being brought up from the ranks. And so in real life, a bunch of people everyone who bought a commission wasn't an idiot. Like, the noble sons went to school to do this, and they were very well-educated people, and they knew a lot about war, etc. But you can see how it is certainly possible for incompetence to also slip in there as well. You compare this with Napoleon, who promoted people based on merit, and most of Napoleon's close generals were actually promoted from the ground up. But then you have the East India Trading Company, which all promotions there are done by seniority. You gotta wait till someone above you leaves. You don't get to buy your commission. And so that we see is the source of Dodd. So even Dodd, who we despise, we still understand where he's coming from, because Dodd was 22 years a lieutenant in the East India Trading Company, just waiting to be promoted. And then Colonel Pullman and Scindia showed him a way to get rich almost overnight. And he went from being a lieutenant to being a major in 2 weeks. And now he's richer than he could ever be in the East India Trading Company. And so that is the way the Mahrattas are getting all these British deserters, is promising them wealth and wealth and titles and rank, where the King's Army and the trading company cannot do that. And so we understand why Dodd jumped ship. Why should he be loyal? Why should any of us? It asks us, where does our loyalty come from? Why should we be loyal to king and country? That king don't know who I am. That country, I'm in freaking India. That country ain't nowhere near. Why shouldn't I just go and get mine? And Sharpe faces these same decisions. He wants a rank. He wants to be an officer, and he wants to be wealthier and just set. Why shouldn't he also desert and go join Colonel Pullman's forces? So I really like the way that that's explored, because loyalty is one of my favorite things to see in books, and this isn't even a fantasy, so it's awesome. And then we have the battle. Bernard Cornwell is second to none at writing large-scale field battles. The Battle of Assaye is just, it is so brutal. You're right there on the grounds, cannonballs tearing through people. You're watching the difficulty of command, of when things go wrong, how you have to try to recover so that, you know, your entire force isn't wiped out, how a smaller force can beat a significantly larger one. The one thing I will say is on the audio, if you are not intimately familiar with British military formation and how battles go, it is hard to follow on the audio a little. Much harder than when you have the text to follow along. So that is one thing that I enjoy reading it physically, is reading the battle scenes than listening to them. But the battle is really not what I'm there for. I'm there for Sharpe and his struggles, and, you know, I can catch, it's really just the minor pieces moving around that get kind of muddled up, but the big picture stuff is really easy to grasp, and I love that crap. So I actually like this one more than I liked Sharpe's Tigers. I just think, I don't know, I think the interaction between the characters was better. I just thought it was more exciting, more personal. And maybe it was the fact that, maybe it was just, you know, better that I got to listen to it on audio. I'm currently listening to Sharpe's Fortress, and Rupert Farley is a fantastic narrator. So on the Kingfin approval system, I give Sharpe's Triumph a superb. It's a superb book. I love Bernard Cornwell, and I love Sharpe. So, and out of 5 stars, I give it 5 stars. Easy 5 stars. Better than Sharpe's Tiger. And I remember last time I read these, liking Sharpe's Tiger the best of the first 3. Well, now Sharpe's Triumph is the one to beat. Fortress, can you do it? We will see. So guys, that is it for me for today. As always, information about my Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys.